Howdy folks, we're here today to talk about the DM98 Smartwatch. Finally, the Asian manufacturers have come up with a great combination of hardware and software. It doesn't feel or look cheap. The giant screen separates it from pretty much every other smartwatch on the market. It has the full Android 4.4 stack. Google Play Store is built in. Has a fantastic speaker, a forward-facing camera, Wi-Fi. Out of the box, it has a launcher that actually works and has a degree of customizability. And the main thing that this watch has, and I guess because it has a giant screen, is it also has a giant battery. And the battery life on this device is the best I've ever seen from any of the smartwatches that I've had. The DM98 works best as a standalone device that is not Bluetooth tethered to the phone. I found that when I used Bluetooth tethering, the battery life dropped significantly, but when it was used as a Wi-Fi only device, the battery life was fantastic. As you can see, I would get between 14, 16, 17 hours on a charge, and this included, basic activities such as browsing, checking email, playing back media, and receiving notifications. Let's take a look at a couple of the built-in apps. Here's the web browser. It is serviceable enough and it behaves as you expect. Here as well is Facebook. It works very, very well, and we'll come back to another one of the Facebook apps in a moment. Before you start installing apps of your choice, you should first start by installing a screen rotation app, because you'll need this for certain poorly behaved or poorly laid out apps where certain buttons are hidden underneath the 240 pixel height of the screen, and sometimes in rotation mode you can see those hidden buttons. I also recommend that you install Android Control Panel, which gives you some extra controls that you expect in Android but are missing from the particular skin that the watch manufacturer has installed. From a notification point of view, you should install two apps. One is called Heads Up Notifier, which makes any notification that normally goes to the notification shade. It makes those notifications also pop up in a pop-up window on your screen. The other application you should also install is Screen Notifications. And what this app does is it simply forces the screen to turn on when a notification is received. So let's install some real apps. You'll want to install Google Calendar, which doesn't look like much, but is certainly useful because it's synced with your other instances of your Google Calendar. And if you drill down into events, you'll see it goes into quite amazing detail. Email for Outlook and others is a very tiny email client which seems to work perfectly on this display. You can access all of your inbox folders. You can scroll left and right through your stack of emails in a folder, and it displays inline images and HTML formatted email correctly. I'm advising you to be careful when you are scrolling backwards towards the left, that you do it very slowly and gently, because if you scroll quickly, it's interpreted as a swipe backwards, and generally that can take you either back a page if you're browsing or back out of the application and to the launcher. I've installed Google News on the device. It scales very well to this form factor. Each of the headlines are completely legible, and when you tap on them, they open as web pages in the native browser. Overall, Google News is quite legible and usable on this particular device. Here you can see I've installed Facebook Messenger. It works very well, and the chat heads work as expected, as they do on other Android devices. I'm amazed to see that video calling actually works because the device has a correctly placed forward camera. And this is probably the only wearable device that I would say it is practical to have a video conversation with another person on. The only drawback to Facebook Messenger on the DM98, if someone calls you, the answer button is hidden and you can't actually answer a call that when someone calls you. But what you can do is call that person back and the call will go through, provided they don't have the same watch. Okay, let's take a quick look at some games. As you can see here, you will not be playing Bubble Burst on the DM98, but Fruit Ninja seems to work well. And also Temple Run seems pretty playable on this device. Next up, we've got Wi-Fi Analyzer, which is useful and kind of fun. It updates in real time, showing you the available Wi-Fi networks around you and their signal strength. If you have a use for it, Splashtop, the remote desktop software, works very well. That is to say, it does what it is supposed to do. But you can see on the watch display, it's probably going to be hard to control your, 1080p computer screen with a watch that has a display of 320 by 240. Voice search works very well on this device, and it's probably one of the most useful features of a smartwatch. How many calories are in a McDonald's Big Mac sandwich?
$540 calories. According to Livestrong.com, one serving has 540 calories, 25 grams of protein, 28 grams of fat, 46 grams of carbs, and 970 milligrams of sodium.
Who won the Stanley Cup last year?
The Stanley Cup was won by the Pittsburgh Penguins.
How do I make a Bloody Caesar cocktail?
According to Wikipedia, a Caesar is a cocktail created and primarily consumed in Canada.
VLC is the gold standard for media playback on all devices and all ecosystems. On the DM98, VLC is a much better choice than the built-in Equalizer Pro.
Oh my God! We hit someone because we were drinking and driving. The more you know.
I'll check it out. Marvin. Yes. A different kind of salesman. But don't hold that against me.
And I've saved the best for last. Netflix. Netflix works amazingly. It scales perfectly to the DM98 screen. All of the user interface seems to be accessible. Subtitling, other languages, lists of the series episodes. Everything works in the Netflix browser app, and the widescreen display again does make it less impractical than looking at a smaller smartwatch display with a square screen.
I'm fine. I can make my way from here. You should go. Get yourself a doctor.
if you are considering the DM98 smartwatch, I would say run, do not walk to your local online supplier. This thing looks beastly. It's got a huge display that's much more legible. It's got the full Android stack. It's got Google Play Store. It has a huge battery to power the entire operation, and all of this for less than $100. I'm Jason, and thanks for watching, and I look forward to your subscriptions. Thank you. Bye.